What? It's having trouble on Rockfin. What the heck's going on? Wait. Is CJ still live?
Let me see. So we're live on YouTube, I believe. CJ is still live. But we are live on YouTube right now.
How are we live and he's live at the same time?
I don't know.
All right. Hold on.
Yeah, because Yipper99 just said 2 streams at the same time.
Okay. Okay, I think he just ended. Okay. All right. So, all right. So what I'm going to do, I don't want to end the stream. Hang on. All right. So let me refresh this. Still considered live on Rockfin.
Rockfin is a little bit behind.
Yeah. I'll check back in a second. We can just start.
Okay.
All right. All right. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sabby and Jaybe show. I'm your host, James Fauntleroy. So good to see you. Sabby Sabs, what's good?
What's going on, JB?
Long day. But it's good to see you nonetheless. Just to let you guys all know that Sabby and Jaybe show streams every single Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and here on the RBN Network. Also, if you are new to the channel, please make sure to put a like in the video as well. And thank you to all the patrons on Patreon. And yeah, it's good to see all of you guys here today. Okay. If you guys think we're talking about Ryan coverage, we're not. As you guys can tell from the thumbnail, you know, as far as everybody knows, the Sabby and Jaybe show is more of the lighthearted version of RBN on Thursdays. I got my tea, and
I have tea too.
Oh, for real? Nice. Okay. 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 So this is going to be an interesting story that we're going to be talking about. Ice Cube first. Actually, hold up. I forgot. Say hello to everybody in chat. Where is my head at? All right. All right. We have Anthony in the chat says, is he now known as Ice Cub?
I like that one.
Yo, sometimes I wonder if I look like Ice Cube. There's some pictures where I look at Ice Cube and I'm like, he looks kind of a little bit like Nick. But then I'm looking at him, I'm like, he looks a little bit like me. So I'm just like, Do we all really look alike?
No, I can see a mixture of the two.
Yeah, it's
I
kind of
can see
weird,
a mix.
right?
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
is kind of weird. Well, Ice Cube rarely smiles, JB. So there's that.
I know, and I smile way too much. Jeez Louise. Oh well. We have Justin in chat says, this is interesting. All of MCU is propaganda. SHIELD is a stand-in for the CIA, which is supposed to be this righteous organization protecting humanity, which is the complete opposite of what the CIA is.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. CBC voters in the chat saying, happy Thursday, Sabby, Sabs, and JB. Hit the button, please. All right. Gamer is in here saying, hello. Hello, Gamer. Super Desmond 12 says, hello. All right. Yipper99 says, uh-oh. Good to see you, Yipper. All right. Desert Mantis says, I hear, but then I see. Are you talking about Wakanda Forever? Because I did see it. We got some things to talk about. Hugo Gutierrez says, hi, everyone. All right. Let me see. Let's see. Cool Melendez says, cool. I'm sorry, Carlos Melendez. My bad. Sorry. All right. Tiberius Monk says, hello, everyone. All right. And anybody who's trying to watch on Rockfin, I'll get that set up in a second. It's just for some reason it's taking a while. I'll keep refreshing until I can start it, but I don't know what's going on. Oh, wait. I think. Let me check really quick. Just to make sure. Because I want to make sure I get everything on Rockfin. What's going on Rockfin?
I don't know. I've had trouble with it the past couple of days. I got it going, but there's been a couple of glitches.
Rip. Maybe it's just Rockfin that's glitchy. That's probably what it is.
It might be.
Oh man. Okay. Well, we're working on it, people. All right. Okay. Who else is in the chat? Make sure I get through this as quickly as possible because we have a lot to talk about. We have you're on banana split cream bun. Sorry. Look, I have a very vivid imagination. Do not put usernames like that up for me to read because I will. Sabs. Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Bad cookies says Nick and CJ says sorry for going on. Bad Nick and CJ. Bad. Bryce Smith says we're here. Elbow cough. All right. Ben said, did it just start? Yes, we just started. Sean Miller is in here. Bling Girl is in here. Carrie Scott is in here. Desert Mantis is in here. All right. We got to get going. Oh, Eric is in the chat. Okay. All right. So, we're tired. I'm tired. All right. Let's go. Ice Cube. Friday, the next Friday after next. This is a story. Sabs. Okay, so let me share my screen just so that you can see exactly what is going on. All right. Let me enlarge just so that you can see. Okay, now. Gosh, it says Ice Cube says Warner Brothers won't give him Friday rights and he's not buying them. F no, I'm not paying for my own stuff. So this came out a couple days ago, right? So it says Ice Cube wants full control of the Friday film franchise. But he says Warner Brothers is standing in his way. Appearing on the most recent episode of Mike Tyson's Hotboxing podcast, Cube urged the studio to give him the rights to the franchise and rejected the possibility of buying the rights from the studio himself. Cube starred in and wrote 3 Friday movies, all which were produced and distributed by New Line Cinema. Warner Brothers now owns New Line. So Cube can't move forward on a 4th Friday movie without the studio's blessing. Ice Cube said, I don't know. Warner Brothers is weird right now when asked about the 4th Friday movie. He said, which is to be titled Last Friday. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. We'd love to have it back. I think it's going to be close to a time when we get it back. So either we'll wait for that time or we'll keep trying to convince them that they need to let us control the movie. It's my movie, but they have distribution control. Sabby, what does that remind you of?
Distribution control.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you don't really, technically, you don't really own it. I'm sorry, but
let me ask you this way. What music artist does this remind you of?
which one? A lot of them have been in this situation.
That's true. But what's one of the most famous ones that you can think of?
Prince.
Bingo.
Yeah, this was a big issue. See, this goes back again to, and I know Ice Cube's a millionaire and he's really famous and everything, but this goes back to, again, workers owning the means of the production. Oh my
Right?
God. It's like, even though he wrote it and even though he starred in, I think it was 2 of them, might have been 3 actually. There's been a couple of Fridays that I haven't seen the more newer one. But that doesn't mean you don't own it.
Yeah. So my thing is like, okay, you wrote it, you starred in it, and now, because it's basically your movie, it's your artistry because you literally wrote it, but because they were distributors, they now have control over whether you can do anything with it.
But this goes back to ownership of image and property as well, because this is so I'm glad you brought up musicians, because I know this is in reference to a movie, but musicians have fallen into this multiple times where they have signed these contracts and they're like, it's my song, I wrote the song, it's my music. But because they didn't necessarily, and I don't know what the contract was that he had with Warner Brothers, but sometimes some of these, especially younger artists, they don't read the contract thoroughly and they miss over the parts that basically say that that record company owns their image and that they can still continue. And here's the other thing. If Warner Brothers is saying that they own the rights to distribution, you know what else they could do? They can continue making Friday movies without Ice Cube. They can put in different characters, different actors. And Ice Cube, depending on the contract, I got to see the contract he has, may not even receive royalties, depending on how that contract was set up in the very beginning. So again, this is another one of those examples where we've seen this happen multiple times to artists, to actors and actresses as well, is where they think that because they wrote the script or they produced it and they were in it, that they own it, and they don't. And this is another example to advocate for worker co-ops, why you need to have workers owning the means of the production. You see how Warner Brothers can just take this and say, yeah, it's not really yours. We're the distributor, right? So in order to combat this in Hollywood, you would have to do something like what Tyler Perry did, which is create your own movie studio.
Yeah, like Tyler Perry did. But you need a lot of money in order to do that too.
That's right.
You know, and unfortunately, to get that big, you also need to exploit more in order to get that big.
That's right.
You know, and the thing is that as far as Ice Cube is concerned, yeah, it's just like what Dave Chappelle said about when he signed Comedy Central to do Chappelle's show, he said that in the contract they own his likeness, his name and likeness in perpetuity, basically universally, meaning that his likeness and his name cannot be used in any other way, even by himself, because
Yeah.
they basically own his image and his name.
You got to see
That's
how that worked.
that sounds like slavery to me.
That was the same thing. I mean, this has happened. It's happened so many times. We saw this happen to in sync with the original first manager they had. That's why they had to get out of, they had to fight legally to get out of that contract.
Yeah.
We've seen this happen. It usually happens a lot of times with younger entertainers, right?
Mm-hmm.
We saw this happen to New Edition. We've seen this happen to like so many people who end up in these situations because they don't understand that they don't fully own it. And
Mm-hmm.
so this is one of those things like if we were ever able to have a conversation with Ice Cube, this would be someone that would be really good to push for workers owning the means of the production. Because
Yeah.
remember, Ice Cube was one of the other people, or excuse me, was the only one at that point in time that was pushing back during 2020 saying like, look, what is the agenda for black people? Why should we vote for Joe Biden? I'm talking about the contract for Black America, although like he
Yeah.
wasn't the writer per se. There were other people that actually wrote it and did the research, but he
Mm-hmm.
was the promoter for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Joe Biden won and we heard no more about that.
Yeah.
We heard no more
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. No. He they were like, we'll talk to you later. It's basically the equivalent of what Hillary Clinton did to that young black woman who was protesting at one of her rallies. I'll talk to you later. And did she ever even talk to her? You know? So it's just like, that's what it feels like.
Same thing in reference to the image. I want to add this piece too, because I want people to understand. I've seen this happen to um, some of the younger musical artists, some of them that are in boy bands, the
Mm-hmm.
pop singers, they've ended up in this situation too, where they had no say so whether or not the record company could decide to, okay, we're going to make lunch boxes. We're going to make Barbie dolls of you. We're going to make
Mm-hmm.
sweatshirts with your name on it. Like they had no, even if they didn't want it, because of the contract that they signed, they didn't realize that they don't own their name, their look, and their image or their likeness. So this is why you'll find some of these actors and musicians 10, 15, 20 years down the road in life, they're broke. And we're like, how on earth are they broke when they sold all these albums and they sold all these movies? Like, how could they be broke? Because again, like they don't own it. They don't own anything. They don't own any. This is why, like, some of the other celebrities will start a business, right? This is why J Lo like will start a fashion business on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Some people will start like a jewelry line on the side because, again, like that's right, Lewis. They own you
Yeah.
unless
Yeah.
you have your own record label.
Mm-hmm.
You belong to the record company. Unless you
Yeah.
have your own production studio, your own movie studio, like Tyler Perry, your movie belongs to Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the crazy part is you got to think about it in this way. A puppeteer doesn't have to pay the puppets that he plays with in order to have the puppets, do the work for them.
Right.
Meaning that they're the puppets, right? So when it comes to these industries, they pay them so much. When it comes to owning the work and stuff like that, they don't. And a lot of these movies, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll supply, the lot that they, make the movie on. They'll supply, they'll do the supplies. They'll do, the film crews, things like that. Just like, yeah, TLC also went through that too. I
Mhm.
think it was with Pebbles. I think it was.
Yep.
Yeah. And so it's just like with the music industry. Well, who gives them that, that $800,000 advance. It's really just a loan for you to pay back the music industry with interest. And so until you pay that money back with interest, then they own you. And who do I learn that from? T-Pain, because he
I
explained it.
I learned it from TLC.
Yeah,
When they
yeah,
announced that they were filing for bankruptcy, I was like, "What?"
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's crazy.
Mhm.
So let me continue with this. So when Tyson asked Cube if he would just pay to have the rights back in his control, Cube responded, "I ain't putting shit up for it. Fuck no. They need to give it to me, and they're going to make money. I'm not about to pay for my own stuff. That's stupid. They need to do the right thing. Get it to us. Let us turn it into more money and make the fans happy. We can do a lot with it." So,
Mm.
and this is actually an interesting point. Says Cube revealed earlier this year he has written 2 more Friday movies. He said Warner Brothers rejected both scripts. Cube told Tyson he is currently working outside the Hollywood studio system to his uh, due to his decision not to get the jab. Cube confirmed in November that his refusal to get the jab cost him $9 million movie role.
But see, again, this is another example where if you have your own studio, and no, it's not easy to do, it's very expensive. But if you have your own studio, then you can make those types of demands and requests. You get to make the rules. Until then, we're all owned by somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be very clear. We are all owned by somebody, whether
Mm-hmm.
it is a football owner, or a record company that owns you, or your employer that you work for that owns you. We're all owned by somebody,
Mm-hmm.
unless you are in full business for yourself. And I mean that you own the production. And if you
Yeah,
don't own that, then it just
you don't own shit. So there's a couple of super chats I want to get to really quick. Neo's algorithm says, Sabby and Jay, I also did not enjoy Wakanda Forever. Hope to talk on call in later. Much love, y'all. Anybody in RBN from Houston? No,
no.
no, nobody in RBN's from Houston. Sorry.
No one
Yeah,
from Texas. No one from Texas.
unfortunately. Tiberius Monk says, time for another wonderful, exciting show with the two of the coolest YouTubers, Sabby and Jaybe. I had to do it.
Every time
Yep.
I hear his name, I think about Thelonious Monk, the jazz musician. Every time I see Tiberius Monk, I think about Thelonious Monk.
I think of James Tiberius Kirk.
Oh boy.
Yipper said what I want to say earlier, but I didn't get a chance to say it earlier. But Yipper says somebody should have Warner Brother. Yeah, yeah. P. Wayne Smith says Little Richard fought for his music too, and that's
Yes.
sad because he's one of the architects of rock and roll. Have to fight for his own music. It's BS. Shouldn't have to do
Well,
that.
plus back then they didn't have strong copyright laws. Remember that a lot of people were stealing people's music,
Yeah,
you
true.
know.
Saul says, I work in the biz. Legally and in the studio's eyes, it's the studio that owns the work because that's what the contracts stipulate. Got to be sure to sign a contract that says you own it.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Sakudo says black millionaires finding out that they're not actually free or true ruling class just because they played the capitalist game and appeased the masters is always an interesting experience. Ain't it?
Mhm. Mhm.
Mm.
People are starting to find out now,
Mm-hmm.
millionaires and I mean, even some of the athletes that have all these endorsements, just like that, like brands can drop you. Nike can drop you.
Yeah, it's true. Like one particular person who shall remain nameless was a billionaire, and then next thing you know, got dropped, and then he wasn't a billionaire no more.
That fast.
That fast. This account is pending review. Says Wayne's scary movie, same thing.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. And Saul says, I knew a girl that was about to sign to a girl group years ago, but backed out because the contract basically stipulated that they own her.
This is why some people choose to remain on independent, like these indie labels or um underground, you know. Because I mean, nowadays with all the streaming services, do you really need to sign with a mainstream record label? I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
guess if you want to make a lot of money, but how much money are the artists actually making? Not as much as you would think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, the only other way that they can be dropped by some of these companies is if they piss off the public and it's a bad image on the studios or the record label that have them. And maybe, just maybe, they can get dropped out of their contract. But then they also risk damaging themselves and their reputation even afterwards, so they can't do it. So mm-mm-mm. Anywho, let us let me see. Uh wait, hang on. Drav says only Michael Jackson and Prince outsmarted the industry.
Yeah,
Mm,
Prince knew. He was just like, "Oh, okay, so you won't let me out of my contract? All right, I got this. I'm going to change my name."
Saul says Van Halen ended up rushing to the studio to record their second album after their first big tour because they apparently owed money to Warner Music. They were broke after a huge tour. What?
I have to find out if that was before their lead singer, the original lead singer left. Oh my god, why can't I remember his name?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I remember his name? Oh my
Eddie
gosh.
Van Halen?
No.
Or
Oh my god, why can't I remember his name? Before the showman guy. Hold on, I'll find it. This is bad. I can't
that's
remember.
kind of okay.
Um David Lee Roth. I have to find out if that was before or after David Lee Roth. I'll be curious
Mm-hmm.
to know.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Because they switched lead singers. Because David Lee Roth went and decided to become a solo artist, and they brought in the guy that I don't really like, Eddie. No, not Eddie. Sammy Hager. I didn't really care for him too much.
Hmm. Says ask Kaya. Yeah, she's the one that made my neck, my back. You know what I mean? That song. I don't know if you remember that one.
Oh, I remember. Because I noticed you didn't say the next part.
Mhm. This is a family show. Thanks for the super chat. Meadow King says, look up how AI art is made. Glorified copy paste using art chimered from across the web. Yeah, that whole thing's getting a lot of attention. Everybody's doing like this AI art, which takes a picture of you and puts you in different like likenesses, like a prince, a warrior, stuff like that. But the thing
Weird.
is, it's all produced by AI. And it's like I haven't did it because I'm like, no, I ain't getting into that. If I want to actually do actual art, I want an artist to do it, you know.
Right, right.
But yeah,
That's cheating.
yeah, it's kind of weird. A lot of people are doing it. Some people on Twitter did it. There's a lot of people who did it on uh, Facebook. A lot of them did it too. It's just crazy how It's happening.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Mm-hmm. So, oh my God. Notori,
Notori.
come on! Why you gotta do that to me?
I
You
knew
know we gotta
somebody was.
read the chats on here, and you set me up, Notori. It's a total setup.
I knew someone would do it,
I
man.
am
I
sick
knew
of you,
someone.
Notori. Notori ain't got no shame. I can't be a gentleman and read that, Notori. My neck. No, don't. Nope, nope, nope. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Not with Sabby here. No.
What people don't understand is like we had some pretty, I guess, controversial songs, like a part
You
of
can
our generation. Like
you can do side steps or sit ups, but please don't lose that butt.
every time I go sing karaoke, somebody sings that song. Every time there's two songs I know someone's gonna sing. Someone's gonna get up there and they're gonna sing "Baby Got Back," and someone's gonna get up there and they're gonna sing Garth Brooks' "Friends in Low Places." Every time, never fails. Those two are at least gonna happen. There was the other song too by I think it was Trina. The "Oops, there goes my."
Oh no, that was
Is it?
no, not Trina. It
No,
was
not Trina.
Tweet.
Tweet, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There goes
Ooh,
my,
there
there
goes the
goes.
shirt over my head. Oh my. Ooh, there goes my shirt. Oh, never mind. Oh my goodness. I bent over to the left.
People don't understand like the stuff we grew up with, man. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Oh, those were the memories.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Get your freak on. Get your freak on. Get your freak.
I remember there was a song. I remember my dad playing this, and my mom got mad and was like, "Don't ever play that in this house again." There was a song called "Bitch Better Have My Money."
You thought that? I forgot. Pay me what you want.
That's what I'm saying. Like the way that culture, like it's so PC today. Like some of the things we grew up with, I was just like,
oh my God, Soul Construct, don't put that in the chat. This is a family show. Cause I got high, cause I got high, cause I got high. Da 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 da. All right, I told y'all. Look, this is the let your hair down. Just chillax. This is that type of stream because that's what we're talking about. Oh my gosh.
I mean, Missy Elliott had a song about, a 1 minute man. And if you're just at the club and you're just dancing and you're not really paying attention to the lyrics, it may not click with you what that song is about. And you start listening to the lyrics and you're like, oh,
I know what it's about.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. Break me up, show me what you got, cause I don't want no 1 minute man. I'm gonna make you want me. Oh.
And there was another one. I don't remember the girl who sang this. She might have been a one-hit wonder, but she had the song, "Don't Want No Short Man. Eeny, meeny, teeny, weeny, scribbled little short. Don't want. And she wasn't talking about height.
Oh my God. Loosen up my buttons, babe. Touch. Say what you gonna do to me. Cause I see nothing till you loosen up my buttons. And I'm wearing buttons. Gosh. Jeez Louise. Oh yeah, Lil' Kim was the original Cardi B.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so.
Even Salt and Pepper, if she want to get freaky only on the weekend, it's none of your business. Yeah.
Yes. They were so like, see, you guys wonder why, like, I don't know, like our generation, we're just so when people say, "Oh my God, so and so said this," we're just kind of like, eh.
Mm,
With what we grew up with, it's just like I don't know, like
yeah. I mean, we have movies where ducks are getting into relationships with human women. I mean,
this is
two
true.
teenage boys just construct a woman on their computer, and they're basically in the shower with a grown ass woman. Weird science. Like,
Yep, yep. I remember that. Weird
yeah,
science.
yeah. Like nowadays, that would be like, oh my god, that's grooming. This has got a grown ass woman in the shower with two teenage boys. It's crazy. Like some of the stuff that came out of the 80s and 90s, she's like, what? And
Two
my
Live
mother used to
Crew.
be, oh yeah, oh my god, any of those
I can't sing that
like
on here.
from Sir Miss-a-Lot to like Crew, all those people. If that music came on, my mom would be screaming, "Turn it off!" Because I was raised very religious, so my mom would be like, "No, don't you dare!" Man, and then Michael Jackson grabbing his crotch all the time.
There was that too.
Yeah,
And
we got used
Madonna.
to that.
And
Oh
Madonna.
yeah, the cone bras. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Hugo said all those songs can't be made today. No, could you imagine if Madonna came out like right now?
Mm-hmm.
The same like provocative Madonna now?
Nope.
The same
Nope.
people was really funny to me is some of the same conservatives that were criticizing Cardi B and Megan the Stallion for the WAP performance. I'm like, didn't you guys grow up during the time of Madonna? Do you remember some of the things that Madonna did on stage for award
Yeah.
shows?
Yeah. I mean, Marky Mark used to drop to his drawers on stage, and y'all ain't got shit to say about that.
Yep. We saw a lot growing up.
Trust me. You best believe, baby. I saw it. I seen it. I'm like,
Oh my God.
Lord, I'm going to hell. All right, so can we get to Wakanda Forever?
Yeah, sorry. We went off into a tangent. Sorry.
That was fun though. Wait, did I miss a super chat? I'm gonna make sure I didn't miss anything. I've been trying to make sure I keep up with them. Oh, Larry says you guys need to look up the Richard Cheese cover of My Neck, My Back, Pure Gold.
I'll check it out.
Oh Lord, Richard Cheese? Who the hell is Richard Cheese? Oh my goodness. Oh Lord, Adina Howard, freak like me. Lord.
I remember that one too.
Oh my God, some of these, some. Oh my goodness. Oh, wait. To the window, to the wall.
Another one. That was another one. Drop says Madonna was just extra. Madonna said she doesn't do it anymore, but like back in the day, if you watch like a Madonna's like concert, Madonna sexualized everything,
Oh,
everything on stage.
mm-hmm. Yeah, she did. She was kind of miss it though. Let me stop. Let me see. Chip says, I'm from the generation where our parents had the Beatles singing, I want to hold your hand. And we had 9 Inch Nails hit, I want to, you like an animal. The world of music
Exactly.
really
Like
changed.
so it's like we grew
Oh,
up with that, like 9 Inch Nails and Smashing Pumpkins. Like kids today just don't know. Like they just don't know. Oh my God, I sound like my parents. They just don't know. Like I would wake
kids.
up in the morning and turn on MTV and boom, 6:30 in the morning, you'd hear the world is a vampire. Do 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 do. This is what we grew up with.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Wait, hang on. Larry says Richard Cheese does Vegas lounge style covers. Okay.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check that
Okay.
out.
Mm-hmm.
Crystal
Yeah, there
said
was.
Eminem. Eminem too. That's another one. Like Eminem was like, I'm tired of all of you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not Mr. NSYNC. I'm not what your friends think.
I am whatever you say I am. Never mind. Let me stop. Oh gosh. Yep. Okay. So Wakanda Forever. Jeez Louise. That was a conversation. Oh, wait. Roger Meadows. Wait, I gotta get to Roger. I gotta get to Roger. You know it's about to get fun. Hang on. Let me share my screen. Roger, I'm coming, bruh. Let's see. All right. Sorry for being late, by the way. Roger says, I'm down for the worker co-ops, Sabby, but in order for that to happen, sorry, the HNIC mentality in our community must go. If y'all don't, do I need to tell everybody, people who aren't black in the chat, what the HNIC is?
Yeah, everybody may not know what that means.
All right. Oh gosh. Pardon my French, but HNIC stands for head nigga in charge. Mentality in our community must go. Black rich elites are finding out the difference between being a high-paid employee and cutting your own checks. Remember, those endorsement deals can get your career killed. That money will pull you in. All those you name pale in comparison with Two Live Crew's first album, Salt and Pepper, Push It. Yet Weird Science, Kelly LeBronc, and Anthony Michael Hall, Prince, Get Off, and Cream, Get on Top. Oh my God. Akinelli, put it put it in your mouth, in your motherfucking mouth, gargle.
I forgot about that song.
Why you made me read that, man? Why, man? Why?
Yeah.
Roger getting me back for something. I just know it. Look, the opinions of Roger Meadows do not reflect the opinions of RB. Sorry, CJ. Sorry, Nick. I know Rome is probably watching it. He's cracking up right now, too.
Yes, there was a song called Put It in Your Mouth. I kid you not, guys, for the younger people in the chat.
Oh my God.
Yeah. They used to play that song so much. Like, it got to the point where I was like, I'm really getting tired of this song because just.
Oh gosh. How did we get here? Never mind. Wakanda Forever. Let's go. Can we get to the movie?
Let's get to the movie.
Okay, so I want to first get your opinion really quick, including the thoughts, including the propaganda that we recognize, you and I and many others recognize. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the movie overall?
Based on what? Based on entertainment? Like,
yes.
Okay. Entertainment wise, it was good. Like, it's not better than the first one. I'll be honest. So entertainment wise, I guess I would put it about a 7 based on entertainment.
Okay. I put it at a 6. Well, 6.5. Between 6.5. Yeah. That's kind of what I put it. And it really doesn't have anything to do with Chadwick not being there. Though
Right.
It probably would have went up because I heard about the original script and how it was going to play out.
Right.
But it still was a solid 6.5 for me. It wasn't, because the original Black Panther, I put it at about an 8.5, 9, right? It's not my favorite MCU movie, but it's pretty up there. It has
I put
literally one.
the original Black Panther.
Mhm.
That's probably one of my favorite ones. The first one, I put that about. I'd say I don't give anybody a 10, so I put that about a 9.5.
Yeah, that's a 9.5 up there for me. My favorites were Captain America: Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame. For the most part, yeah,
Yeah, Endgame's up
and
there for me too.
yeah, yeah, and Iron Man 1. Um, it's pretty far up there too. But even still, if you look at the entirety of all the movies, and it's not just in the MCU, it's cross many different properties, almost damn near all of them. There's some type of propaganda that is in all of them. And when you come to the point where you are anti-capitalist and anti-imperialist, and you start to see things for how they really are, oh yeah, Ragnarok. Greg is absolutely right. That's literally one of my favorites too.
Mhm.
Ragnarok was great, and it was definitely better than Love and Thunder.
Yes, yes.
My my thought was every single time something came up in the movie, that always was like an asterisk in the back of my mind, right?
Hmm.
It's that asterisk. Like every single time I saw Everett Ross, that asterisk would pop up in the back of my head. This is propaganda.
Right.
And so, by the way, full of spoilers. If you guys have not seen it, if you
Yes.
have not seen the movie, we're going over it all. So guess what? If y'all gonna exit, go watch the movie if you want to, bootleg it if you want. I don't give a shit. Then come back and see it, and then watch this. Fine, go ahead. Look, just like the stream before you go. But yeah, I mean that's what I think. So
Yeah. Well, one of the so this is probably one of the most controversial issues of the movie is the character Namor, right? So I want to go ahead and share this picture so people know who I'm talking about.
I ain't gonna lie, he finding the mug though.
So JB, that's not the
I'm sorry.
focus.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He looked good. I got a wide variety and taste that spans the entire spectrum of the male species. I'm sorry. I like them from the darkest of the dark to the lightest of the light and everything all in between. Sorry.
Okay.
So,
But this is some of the controversy here is about the character Namor, right?
yeah.
So obviously, well, for those of you who followed the comic books, he does not look like the comic book character, but whatever. That's been happening throughout MCU for a while, actually. So some people had some issues with that. Um, but there's a video, and I want to play this because this channel is called Red Nation, and they actually talked about this,
Yeah.
about the propaganda that they felt came from the movie from
Mm-hmm.
an indigenous perspective.
Yeah.
So,
I'll share that really quick.
oh, I got it. If you,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I
Cool.
got it.
All right, cool.
So goodbye, Neymar. And let me go ahead and bring this up because I thought it was important because we've talked about Wakanda Forever, how we felt about it, like with the CIA propaganda and things like that. But I want people to hear because in this movie, basically Neymar, his people represent like the indigenous group. And so now we're going to hear the perspective um of a young woman from, again, this is Red Nation podcast, so it is a podcast that focuses on indigenous issues, and I want you guys to hear her perception of this. So let me start. And JB, just tell me when you want to jump in
Sure.
between.
Thing that I wanted to point out too about this
Hold on.
movie is Okay, so what I didn't like was that I kept hoping for some sort of redemption and it never came. And that was probably the most disappointing thing. Is just you're literally just in a whirlpool forever and there's just like no way of getting out of it. But also, what's like what kept sticking out to me is um sort of like the way that Americans and like CIA are framed in this movie, which is very like friendly, very like cutesy funny. They bring like comedic relief. Um
I want to get your take on that, JB. Because that was something I noticed too. Like the movie does give this message that the alphabet letter agencies are your friend and they're here to help you, uh and almost to the point that like Neymar's community is the problem. Did you get that perspective as well, or how did you feel about that?
They try to make it seem like Everett Ross was the outlier. Like, yeah, he's CIA, but he's one of the good ones. It's basically like the good cop and the bad cop. You know,
Right.
um, like Val was kind of the bad cop, and by the way, in the movie, they're also a divorced married couple, her and Everett Ross, which is weird. Like, really? Like, why did you guys need to include that in the movie? Come on, Ryan. So, but the thing is that they were insinuating that, well, they saved my life, so I have to be good to them. And here's the thing: when it comes to the alphabet people, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter to them.
Right.
They are, to them, it's all about the mission. And the mission is US hegemony. The mission is to take over, destabilize other countries that may be a threat to you,
Yep.
and then take over their resources for the sake of big corporations who rule over the bureaucracies that you are employed by. And so, yeah, I agree with her because they try to make it seem like they are the good guys, they are the friendly ones. And but this is par for the course. I mean, hell, look at any Transformers movie. Michael Bay got the military on. Michael Bay is kissing the military's ass in those Transformer movies.
Yep.
So, yeah.
That's right. I'll let her go on here.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like move forward to like these indigenous nations that can't, protect themselves. They are infighting, like you said, and they can't agree on their resources. Yeah, which are all tropes. Like they're all but anyway, okay. So with that in mind, it's like as an audience, you're supposed like you're forced to choose sides. Like you're forced to choose between like the good and the bad. And somehow the Americans don't have anything to do with that. They fall into the background and we're supposed to like refer to them as like our favorite colonizers, which I will never ever do. Like liberalism takes everything, but they're not going to take that word away from us.
Like,
I will
can we
always
stop?
identify my enemies as like the colonizers.
Yo, it's crazy. It's psychotic. When in the movie when they said my favorite colonizer, I'm like, do you say my favorite murderer?
Yeah.
my favorite genocidal maniac? It doesn't make sense. Like, they literally are watering down or whitewashing what it means to be a colonizer.
Right.
And I'm just like, are you kidding me? What?
They really did. They really did. And for those of you who haven't seen, like, you have to see the movie to understand, like, to see what we're talking about. They made it seem like it was more of a friendly thing. When, if you go back and you watch the first Black Panther movie, Killmonger was right. Killmonger actually, now let's listen. He may not have necessarily went about things the right way. His strategy may not have been great, but what he said was correct in the fact that everything was taken from him, right? So what I did not like particularly about this movie was the fact that as the audience member, I felt like at some point during the movie, I was expected to choose between Wakanda and Namor. And that should have never happened, because at the end of the day, they should have been together. They should have been on the same team. They should have joined forces. So when Namor says we have to rise up against the West and the imperialism and the military, I felt like he was correct. Like, you don't go and try to be their friend, because they know that you have vibranium. They didn't before. But when they know that you have vibranium, that is a powerful resource that they are going to want. And the US military will constantly try to get that resource, obtain that resource, even if that means they have to wipe you out to get it.
Yeah.
So Namor again was right when he told them we need to join together and rise up against the West. And what was disappointing is you hear the sister and them from Wakanda, they're like, well, no, they protected us before, or they helped us, or but this is not. There's so many things I have to say. There's so many things, but I want to give you a chance as well, JB.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. The fact that Shuri sided with the colonizer is a message to Black people. You better side with the colonizer. And this really was a message of disunity to the people who are the most disenfranchised. Because what was going on that made Namor come up in the movie? Yeah. What was going on? It's interesting how much propaganda in these movies. Yeah, absolutely. And it was because they were using a device that was created by a young Black student in MIT to search for a mineral, a metal that Wakanda has that they thought they exclusively had, but now they found it in the ocean.
Yep.
And they got too close to Talokan, which is the now MCU version of Atlantis. And their defenses came and neutralized them. That's what happened. And so Namor's like, look, if these people get too close and get hands on our vibranium or your vibranium, in the words of Comrade Misty, we're fucked.
Right.
And so he said, let's join forces to fight against them. Shuri decided no, because she didn't want the scientist who created the machine to be murdered, who was a young Black woman. So they try to cover it like, oh, well, we don't want to get rid of this young Black woman. The thing is that what Shuri should have did was say, okay, I don't want to kill this young Black woman. Let's take, who is Riri Williams, let's take her and place her in our custody and not side and then team up together.
Yep.
That's what should have been done. But they refused, but they didn't do that. And so then it put two nations against one another who were really victims, because you had France in the movie going against Wakanda, trying to take their resources, and then the Dora Milaje walked those perpetrators into United Nations and had them kneel down, and Prima Mondo was like, here are your people trying to steal our technology.
Yep.
And then the same people were trying to do it from Talokan. So one would think that they both should actually be going together, but no. In the movie, what did they do? They pit basically indigenous people in the Americas versus Africans. Basically, That's what it was.
Right. And also in the movie, they make it seem like Namor is the villain, that he's the enemy. Mm-hmm. When in reality, like I said, he was correct. You should protect that resource, because you know what could happen if it got into the hands of the military, right? Obviously. But the fact that they made him come across as a villain, and I'm talking about from the very beginning, they made him come across as like he's the enemy. You know, this is why a lot of people went back and forth from the first movie about Killmonger. You know, and in the beginning, when he's first introduced, it's like, oh, he's a bad guy. But was he wrong? Mm-hmm. So that was just Killmonger trying to take back what was taken from him. And this is the
Black
point.
People.
And Black people, exactly. So that's part of the thing that I did not like about that, is that they made it seem like Namor was the enemy. Mm-hmm. And when in reality, both of those communities should have bonded together to protect their resources. And by the way, this happens today. Mm-hmm. Instead of different communities working together to protect what they have, people are pitted against each other, and the West comes in and steals their resources.
Yeah. And Gilbert is right. Anti-hero, and that's what they tried, because in the comics, Namor is considered an anti-hero. He's not necessarily a bad guy. He's just very protective of his nation. And my thing is, Namor is a good guy because he's trying to protect his people. And the fact that he wanted to team up with Wakanda and protect his people, then guess what? Namor was correct, and Namor was actually the good guy. And what did Queen Ramonda say? She said, I am queen of the most powerful nation in the world. She was correct at that moment. But even still, when they found out about Talokan, guess what? They were now two of the most powerful nations in the world. Who, if they actually team up together, who could mess with them?
Right.
Nobody could mess with them. And so, and they were basically a disenfranchised people. Of course, Wakandans were shielded from that. But now that they know what Black people around the world are going through, of course, they can also help fight against that. Talokan, if you watch the movie, Namor, when his mother dies, he actually goes back up to the surface world and he sees the Spanish colonizing different parts of Central America.
Yep.
And he kills the colonizers, and they call him a demon. They called him Namor, no love. That's what they called him. So therefore, he was considered a demon almost by them because he killed the colonizers. And so he still had that hate for colonizers. And he saw what they were trying to do. And basically, just like the colonizers were doing back then in Central and South America, the West was trying to do to Wakanda when they were in a ship and they tried to
Mhm.
steal from them. And yet Wakanda decided to side with the colonizer?
Jay the informant said, "What I hate is Black Panther 2 was supposed to introduce Storm." I'd heard about that, but unfortunately, the brother died and they went in a different direction. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'd heard about that too.
Mm-hmm.
And Saul says, "Did we watch the same movie? Shuri and Namor made peace after their fight, and Namor told Namorita that Talcon and Wakanda would be allied when the outside world comes." Yeah, but reluctantly. That was after Shuri kicked his ass.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, when he spoke about that to one of the women from his community, you saw the look on her face. She was just kind of like, "Wait, what?" So now we're just gonna, this is it. We just kind of back down, like that kind of thing. The point I'm trying to make is it should have never even come to that though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, remember, Shuri lost her mom. Like,
But
she was killed.
yeah.
All of that could have been prevented. So much death and tragedy. It was ridiculous the fact that they were fighting against each other when they should have been on the same side from the get-go. That's the point I think JB and I are trying to make.
Yeah. And that's what, and it should have never gotten to the point where Queen Ramonda was killed.
Right.
It should have never gotten to that point in the first place. Because, that's what it was supposed to be. And don't get me started on the end of the after credit scene.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get to that in a second because that part kind of annoyed me too.
So I'm gonna go back into her explanation here. Again, this is from Red Nation and it's called RPH on Wakanda Forever. I could not believe how much US propaganda is in this film.
Mm-hmm.
As settlers, because in reality they're hoarding wealth, they're stealing land, they're imprisoning our people. Leonard Peltier, like the FBI, CIA, the US is responsible for the injustices of Leonard Peltier and just like yeah. Anyway, so I just want to say that, like, do not ever like turn colonizer or settler into an affectionate term. That's never going to be a term of endearment, damn it. um anyway, so that was also what made me so uncomfortable about this movie, is that it's such a false like representation of like everybody in it, especially the Americans. Like, that's so disturbing to me that they would sort of like change this narrative or like redefine like the CIA or like the US government as like this cutesy friendly entity when it's not. And in reality, like, if Wakanda existed, like, the US would be planning like a coup, like to take vibranium or to like um force Wakanda like into submission, or like take away their sovereignty, take away their resources and their wealth. Like that, so I just like could not believe like just how much the US propaganda is in this film, and the like reframing of their position as like this, I don't know, in a way it's like kind of trying to, I don't like, I guess maybe like, I don't know if disarm is the right word, or to like encourage oppressed peoples and colonized people to like let their guard down. Like, you know, America's not that bad. Like, you know, we're not this like powerful, like global dominating country, like this death machine. We're not that. Like, look at these people, they're funny. They can have good relations with other, it's just so I can't believe it. I could not, that's like one thing I was not letting go of like in this movie, was just like I don't believe it for a second. Like I'm not taking this US propaganda, like, oh god, please just erase it from my memory.
They give the impression, JB, that the CIA is good.
Or that they're not completely good, but they have to do bad things in order to accomplish something good, right? That's what it feels like. And it's like, no, they haven't been. It's to accomplish for the ends of oligarchs.
That's right.
That's all it is. Because who benefits from these operations by them? It's the oligarchs. It's their corporations that go into these countries because they've been destabilized. Like, for instance, might we go back to what happened in Chile when Allende was murdered, where Allende was killed, and then they put in Pinochet? And who was it? Part of it was the United Fruit Company, now known as Chiquita Banana. So the thing is that we got to remember these corporations, they're the ones that want to destabilize. Remember when Elon said, we'll coup whoever we want, deal with it?
Mm-hmm.
That's an example of an oligarch wanting the destabilization of a country so that they can extract the resources for their own personal gain. So that's what it's about. And basically, these alphabet bureaucracies are the arm of that. They have an arm to go after groups that threaten your power within the government. They also have local groups that take out and keep us down, so to speak. That's our local police, sheriffs, as well as state troopers. Then they have ones that are outside of the United States that may not be inside the military, maybe more covert intelligence operations. And then they have the strong arm that's in front of your face, which is the military, with their 800 military bases around the world. So that's what's at the disposal of the corporations, of the oligarchs, and the central bankers. That's who controls it. The United States government is really just their employee doing their bidding around the world.
That's a good point. I want to share this too from Black Power Media because they also had a take on this that I want to share. If I can share my screen. Okay. I just want to play a little bit of this here because I thought, why did... Sorry, I'm trying to move my... Okay, there we go. It wouldn't let me move my screen. I want to play a little bit of this here. Stop asking me about full screen. Not you, my computer. Listen to what he says here about the two communities coming together.
You're dead, and then get on the right team or I'm coming back. Whoa, whoa. You damn right. You damn right, because you just threatened all of us by snitching for the white man that you end up saving at the end of the movie again. No, nah, more. No love, baby. I got no love. Oh my God. And then I'm sitting there, and what I told my daughters on the way out is I said, look, to truly appreciate how upset I am, you would have to become even a better student of this history than I am. Because if you look at the radical histories of Black and brown unity, of indigenous and African struggle, I'm not trying to paint some rosy picture. I know we're not always not everybody's always on the same team. But the point is, again, which stories are being told and when and why and by whom and for whose benefit? And all of those histories, I said, this is the most anti-Bandung propaganda I've ever seen. When white folks were shook at what Namor was saying, get with me. We don't need to be enemies. What are we doing? They did this to us. Let's unite. And then they bring Killmonger back to kill him again. And he would, use him as the savage, unthinking, immature revolutionary. All of that to stand in for all of those politics, all of that messaging, so that they could kill him again in the idea of anti-colonial, pan-African, non-aligned movement struggle. This movie is. I don't even care how good, or I don't even know if it's good or not. I don't even care. I was so blown by how I thought this was going to happen, but when I saw the way they would, I just wasn't ready. I was like, nah, more. Wakanda.
Okay, so that's another piece that he mentioned too that I think I forgot to mention as well is the fact that, yeah, they did basically bring Killmonger back just to give Shuri the energy to try to kill Namor, which did not make any sense because both Killmonger and Namor basically had that same idea that, like, listen, we should be fighting against the West. Make it make sense, JB.
I can't because propaganda was the goal. And movies like this offer surface level pride. I'm sorry. This movie was the myth of Black excellence in front of you. That's what it was. What do they tell us? If you just work really hard and come up with a great idea, you too can be a billionaire. You too can be another Byron Allen. You too can be another Oprah Winfrey. You too can be another Tyler Perry. And then you're good. You're good. Everything's going to be all right. Be all right. That's what they're telling you, right? And don't worry about the guys behind the curtain. Don't worry about the central bankers. Don't worry about the military industrial complex. Don't worry. All you do is just believe in us. And don't unite with those savages over there. We got you. Meanwhile, there is no Wakanda. There is a Congo. And what are they doing there? Oh, right. What are they doing in Haiti? Right? They didn't show the shitty parts of Haiti in the movie. The parts where basically it was torn apart because of imperialism, because of colonialism, where you have thousands of people in Haiti living in squalor because of what the United States and the West has done to the global South. They didn't show that. Oh, no. They showed Nakia and the beautiful part of Haiti. And it makes you wonder, does that part of Haiti actually exist? Because you don't remember seeing that.
They didn't show you any of that.
No.
And Haiti is a very poor country. Now there's been a lot of resources that have been stolen from Haiti, but JB's 100% correct. They didn't show you that.
No.
Now we got to ask, like, why are all these military movies like coming? Like, for example, Top Gun. They released another Top Gun a couple months ago. Really? After all these years? Did you guys know that they actually had military recruiters at some of the movie theaters where Top Gun was playing, released that the weekend it was released? They actually had some of them at the movie theaters to try to recruit people when they're coming out of the movie? You guys see what they're doing? Military recruitment is down. It's been down for the past couple of years. Military recruitment is down.
Yeah.
You bring Tom Cruise old ass back after all these years to do another Top Gun?
Yeah. Those are literally recruitment tools. And don't get me started on the first-person shooter video games. Those are recruitment tools. In fact, you have military recruiters on Twitch literally trying to recruit kids into joining the military when they're playing Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, all these different first-person shooters. Yeah, they were doing that too.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? They're in your kids' schools, especially if you're a school that's in a poor area. They're especially all up in there. They got that ROTC going. They got these military recruiters that will sit there and they'll put up, a pull-up bar. Hey, how many pull-ups can you do? If you can get up to 20, we may give you a prize or bragging rights or something like that. Next thing you know, boy goes, man, I got this. Next thing you know, gets up on the pull-up bar, makes it all the way to 20, struggles to make up 20. By the time he gets down, military recruiter goes, hey, can you put your name and address on this clipboard? Next thing you know, they send you military recruitments to your door about you joining the Army, the military, the Navy, the Marines, because they want you to be cannon fodder for the military-industrial complex. That's how they do it. I know because they did it to my nephew.
And they did it to my dad, and they recruit in those communities in those neighborhoods. And you have to ask yourself, like, what are they really trying to do? And this is not to shame anyone that did join the military. People do what they feel they need to do, what they feel is best at that time.
Yeah.
But there has been a lot of military propaganda, particularly in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Particularly in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And anytime you have recruiters at the movie theater, come on, really?
Mm-hmm. Like, for instance, a lot of people don't think about this, but Independence Day. That was pure propaganda. I know. I love that movie. Will Smith did his thing in that movie. I loved it. I watched that movie. We had the VHS back in the day. That's how old I am. But yeah, that's propaganda. It's crazy when you think about it.
These are the things we're trying to show you. I mean, it's just something that we've noticed over the years. It's been increasing, and not to say they weren't doing this before, but it's definitely been increasing, and they're really trying to get a message across. How many Call of Duties are they going to make? And some people just look at it as a video game. But listen, some of the kids playing those games think, man, if I join the military, I get to do this.
Yeah. And some people be like, oh, well, violent video games. I'm like, I don't give a shit about the next Mortal Kombat. That's not propaganda in that way. No, it's not. But Call of Duty, hell yeah, that's propaganda. That's definitely. And there's some games that kind of get through that, are not necessarily propaganda in that way, but they actually get to the heart of matters. Like, for instance, one of my favorite games of all time, Final Fantasy VII. The remake wasn't as good as the original. Trust me, I'm sorry about that. But the original Final Fantasy VII talked about the merging of capital and government coming together, basically creating fascism. I'm telling you. But that slipped through the cracks, and that came out in 97. If you don't mind, I'm sorry. I'm going to read the super chats really quick. Let me see. Meteor Dream says, I was born in December 1990. I was a baby when all this was on. Yeah. Soul said, Namor hid from the rest of the world because he saw the colonizers enslaving the people of his mother's homeland. Kano says Killmonger was speared through the abdomen like Shuri did, yet she survived. What the hell? That's also true.
That is true.
Ashura says Ryan Coogler's style of movies is doing racist black stereotypes with pain and trauma, all the while being cool with police and the military-industrial complex.
Ooh.
Damn. Jay the Informant says Storm's village is right next to Wakanda. Storm goes to war because Wakanda allows her family and village to be destroyed by a dictator while Wakanda hides.
Yeah, I think maybe that'll be in the next one because yeah, Storm is very much a part of the story. If you guys don't know, um, this is like comic book nerd stuff, but she's a part of the story as well. There's so much that goes into this, like in the MCU, but more is going to be revealed.
Yeah, definitely. Larry says, sad that it takes a fictional nation to get a certain people to respect actual cultures. Typical for neo-libs, though. Oh. Oof.
You guys are like, you guys are pulling hard punches right now.
Yeah, Casey says they steal Tesla's everything, and Parasite Musk ends up with his name. I've been livid for many years. Yeah, that's interesting. And gamer, yeah, get on the original Final Fantasy VII. Oh my god! And with a leftist brain, and when they talk about Shinra, oh my god! Every single time you see Joe Biden or the next president, whoever comes after him, listen, you'll hear the Shinra theme song in your head whenever they're speaking. And I know we got to get Sabby out of here. Well, we got to go. Hang on. Did I miss a super chat?
I feel shorter. Oh well, I'll figure it out. I think I did something to the seat. I feel like I used to be up a little higher. No.
Yeah.
No.
I know you got to go, Sabby, but I got to go. I got to read Roger Meadows. All
right. I'm outie.
All right. Bye. Oh, wait, Sabs, what you got going on tonight?
Oh, oh, sorry. I was supposed to be like, you're too high to get over. Yeah, yeah. Too low to get under.
Yeah, you're stuck in the middle. Yeah, yeah. Playing this thunder. If you can't be the baby, yeah, yeah. You don't have a baby. Yeah, yeah. And don't be baby. Yeah, yeah. If you can't feed the baby.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Yeah. So tonight the railroad workers will be coming on. So I'll be live again in about 30 minutes on my channel. They will be on, and then I also have news stories. So definitely check that out. I really like to hear from them. So peace out.
Bye. Bye, Sabs. All right, let me get to this on Rockfin chat. Let me see. Okay. Thanks for the tip on Rockfin, Roger. Roger says, JB, if you're reacting like that to Namor, I couldn't imagine how you reacted. He was actually as big as he actually was in the comments. This dude looked puny compared. Propaganda. You don't know propaganda. I grew up on Make My Day, Dirty Harry watch as I blow this black dude away. G.I. Joe after school cartoon. I used to love Alias with Jennifer Gardner. 24 was my guilty pleasure before YouTube. Oh, yeah. Look, G.I. Joe. Thanks. And now I know. And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe. Oh, of course. Look, Roger, I'm not as young as you think I am, bro. Trust and believe. I remember G.I. Joe. But yeah. I used to watch the movie. Not the movie, the show. They actually had a movie too. Yeah. Cobra! Anyway, didn't watch yet. Waiting for Disney Plus. Eric Killmonger, Max Eisenhart, aka Magneto. Wait, I thought it was Eric Lyncher. Anyway, Magneto and Namor McKenzie, real good guys. Namor was the original environmentalist during World War I. Namor fought alongside Captain America. I think it was World War II you meant. Namor fought alongside Captain America Bucky and the original Human Torch, who was an android, who would one day become known as the Vision. Then, when they decided to bring him back, he was wandering New York City homeless when Fantastic Four Human Torch burned his beard away, recognized him. Namor, suffering from amnesia, threw him into the ocean. Memory came back and he swam to Atlantis, saw it destroyed by a human dumping into the ocean, got his troops together once they saw he has returned and waged war on land dwellers. First fought off Fantastic Four, where he fell in love with the Invisible Girl, Susan Storm, and was always kidnapping her, where Fantastic Four had to go to get her. Yeah, he was feeling her. And then the next one, in the comics, T'Challa joined Avengers to keep an eye on federal government to see what info they had on Wakanda. So amazing how different comics is to movies. Also, the biggest propaganda that was placed on Black Generation X was the goddamn Dukes of Hazzard and they goddamn General Lee. Our older boomer siblings or silent, mature parents never told us about it, laughing at us, thinking you'll figure it out. Wow, yeah, I remember Dukes of Hazzard too. Well, I don't remember watching the show, but I do remember them. I didn't really watch them that much. And the Heat of the Night was also propaganda too. That was propaganda. Hell, Family Matters was propaganda because they tried to humanize, Carl Winslow as the cop dad, in Chicago. Man, it's crazy. But yeah, so got to see. Stefan says the simple fact that the military recruiting is down despite at least 20 decades of violent video games being everywhere is proof it doesn't work well. Well, no, I mean, some part of the reason why is because health, we're not as healthy as we used to be. And then part of that is, a lot of kids realize that the military industrial complex is what it is. So a lot of times people, are like that. Carlos Magnus asks, is every cop evil? The institution is evil, and it allows evil people to do evil things. The institution of policing started out as slave patrols in this country. And so, because of the institutions and the allowance of what they did to all of us, unfortunately, it's not one bad apple or a few bad apples. Let's finish the phrase. One bad apple does what? It does what? Spoil the whole bunch? Well, guess what? The soil's been bad from the jump. And so the thing is that a good cop is usually the one that sees all the bullshit that's going on within the culture and they call it out and they end up leaving typically. Because just like the Democratic Party, you can't change it from the inside. This is why defund the police on the road to abolition is what needs to happen. And I understand that you have some family that may have been cops. First of all, I'm sorry. But the thing is that they were involved in a culture that absolutely is being used by the oligarchs in order to protect their assets, not us, including your family members. And yes, I would say this to anybody that has family that's a cop. I would say this to Jimmy Dore's face too, because Jimmy Dore's family was cops. He was raised in a family of cops. And even Jimmy Dore feels like, you know what? Yeah, we should defund the police because of what they're doing. And so unfortunately, that's the way it goes. And a lot of people go into these institutions having very good intentions. But unfortunately, because of the way the system is set up, it is set up so that it protects capital, not us. So public safety needs to be rethought. So this is why when it comes to police, I don't trust them. Even if they have good intentions, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So that's what I think. But so yeah, unfortunately, that's how I feel. But and I'm not knocking anybody's family member. It's just the way the system is done. And there's a lot of people who have really good intentions. The problem is that the system won't allow it. And the thing is that I have heard from other cops that tried to change things from the system, and then even then, the cops, the police departments will go after them and threaten their life and put them into the system. That's the way it goes. Because even if you try to change it from a benevolent place, they won't allow it. So this is why it needs to happen. Oh, and by the way, now we're talking about movies. I just heard they're not doing another Wonder Woman movie. That's been axed. Warner Brothers is like, no, we're not doing another Wonder Woman movie, which is one of their most popular DCEU movies. That's crazy. But they're like, no, they're not doing it. And I would love to see a Thundercats movie, but that would be great. Yeah. But anyways, so gotta get going. Dinner should be almost ready, so I gotta get ready to finish dinner. But thank you so much. Did you like the stream? Did you subscribe? This was a great conversation. We will be back on another Thursday to talk about other fun things and pop culture stuff. So, water your plants, water yourselves. And don't allow yourself to be blinded by the bullshit. Love every single one of y'all. Peace. Oh, wait. Hold up. Wait a second. Crap. Dang it. I forgot. Oops. I saw it. Thank goodness I did not forget. Roger says Eric Lyncher was an alias name for Max. Okay. Dave Burt says lots of propaganda out there. Thank you so much, Dave Burt. Dave Burt says, love seeing JB speaking the word. It is complex, but I like JB's take. I'm pro Serpico for sure, but so much needs to be done. Okay. Thank you. All right. Now we got to go. And like always, bye. What's Sabby Sabs later? Don't forget to subscribe.